project.
I say no kings, no dictators, free America! In the richest nation in the history of the world, our government is now providing health.
This is what democracy looks like.
Of payment may result in a citation. Thank you for riding with us.
People united will never be defeated.
Essential services, all while orchestrating a massive giveaway to billionaires, and enough is enough. For anyone who thinks they've gone too far, this movement is for you. Now, before we get too far into this, I want to remind you that showing up is just the first part. I am glad to see each and every one of you. But today we also need you to do things like check your voter registration. Because we need to vote them out. All of them. Every last one.
Program where you may stamp PSA, tag the voter registration card to it, get an application, and then one of universal. Then send it to all your friends in the same letter. Tell them to send
a president who is claiming to be a king and is doing everything he can, it seems to me, to become a king.
I'm a veteran of the free speech movement in Berkeley in the 60s. We fought for women's rights, civil rights, and we're out here fighting for democracy again. We are protesting authoritarianism.
Can we come back to do it? Raise your hand if you believe in the power of the people. When I say people, you say...
There is no radical left. There is no organized Antifa terrorist group. This is not an anti-American protest. There are no... paid foreign agitators. This is political opposition. This is political opposition to a fascist who is in power. This is an American protest against an American president who falsely believes he is the only one who gets to make choices. Trump is a wannabe dictator, a fascist. If opposing Trump is Antifa, then I am Antifa. You are Antifa. We are Antifa. Because we are anti-fascist and anti-Trump. Who the president is.
The megaphone.
Good for you.
3 letters from America. 1. Long day in Atlanta, working for democracy. First, I volunteered at the voter registration booth in Candler Park. Last day to register for the November 4 election is October 6th. Then joined a candlelight vigil with the theme, Unite in Light. Democracy dies in darkness.
Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles, a great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity, and unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning, and unto the Bayath of Dawadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. So, what you see here on a screen here is that whole No Kings protest thing that's happening around the U.S. and the world, right? You had a lot of cities in the U.S. and right here it says in Berlin, Germany, even in Europe, you have people protesting against Trump. So, I'm gonna go ahead and just get straight to the point here. This is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 9, starting at verse 1. It says, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before. Verse 2, Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. In which that's what Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is doing right now. He's showing you the signs, if you're paying attention. Verse 3, Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people, uproars of the people in the world. Verse 4, Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So, Yahweh Shai back then told us that this was going to happen, that you were going to see people rising up against the powers that be. This is what's happening now. But, you know, ultimately, this is these people that are protesting and this and that. You know, we all know what their latter end is because, you know, they're playing right into the devil's hands, marking themselves and all this and that. Because this devil is going to use this to possibly, you know, hopefully bring about the Insurrection Act, which is martial law. Okay? Giving, civil jurisdiction over to the military, and it becomes military jurisdiction. And that is going to be an absolute hell for the American citizens. All right, let me get Second Esdras. Gonna be chapter. It's gonna be Second Esdras chapter 15, verse 16. I'm gonna start at verse 14, and it says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein." Verse 15, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands." 16, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." Okay? And you can see that in these people. They're not regarding their rulers. They're basically saying to hell with them. And you have a whole multitude of nations standing together, but ultimately, when the time comes when, Jacob's trouble takes full effect 100%, these people are going to be at each other's throats. It's not going to be about democracy or for the people anymore. It's going to be just all-out survival. Okay? All this protesting and people rising up, speaking out against the, those that rule over them. This is just merely a taste of things to come, as it's only going to get worse. Now, going to chapter 16 in the book of Second Esdras. Okay, this is going to be Second Esdras chapter 16. We'll start at verse 18, and it says, "The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do and what shall I do when these evils shall come?" Okay? Like I said, this is only the beginning, and it's only going to get worse from here on out. Famine, death, the sword, great death, mourning, they're all playing right into the devil's hands, giving him all the more reason to invoke martial law. And when that happens, the military will have full authority to put people down if they resist. And you can read that for yourself in the Insurrection Act. So, it's, these people, man. But this is all prophecy anyway. This was meant to happen. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 17, verse 12. And it says, let's see. Yeah, okay. Isaiah 17 and 12. It says, "Woe to the multitude of many people, which make a noise, like the noise of the seas, and to the rushing of nations that make a rushing, like the rushing of mighty waters." Even though the scripture is talking about, when Syria and Israel are threatened because of their idolatry, and a remnant shall forsake idolatry, but at the same time, it still applies to this very day, because Israel is in a state of idolatry, in that worldly mind state, following after the ways of the world anyway. So we'll read Isaiah chapter 17, verse 12 again. It says, "Woe to the multitude of many people." And woe, excuse me, woe meaning destruction. Woe to the multitude of many people, which make a noise. And these people are making a noise, protesting, okay, like the noise of the seas, meaning very loud, and to the rushing of nations that make a rushing like the rushing of mighty waters. So even though these people are protesting against their rulers, all these other countries are going to swarm in, you know, once those sleeper cells are activated, because they're already here. You know, these American citizens, they're going to get, you know, swarmed. You know, these people have no idea what's really coming. They really don't. You can protest all you want, speak out against, you know, the rulers of America here all you want, but the real hell hasn't started yet. You know, I'm gonna finish watching and then I'm gonna close out here.
I try not to listen anymore to what's going on politically here. I hope we can survive the next years of Trump's presidency. Discourages me so much. I don't know what you can tell the people over in Germany. There's not much good news. Three, I wish somehow every single Trump voter lived under his rules and policies and endured the subsequent conditions, and everybody else lived the old way. That should make both sides happy and seems fair. From Tucson, Arizona.
Today, organizers say at least 7 million Americans took to the streets protesting what many called an abuse of power by President Trump. House Speaker Mike Johnson called it, quote, the Hate America rally. Here in New York City, police say 100,000 people turned out at multiple marches. They report no arrests. There were more than 2,600 events from coast to coast. They are all part of the No Kings movement, which accuses the president of behaving more like a monarch than an elected official. CBS's Elise Preston in Los Angeles leads us off tonight. Elise.
Jerica, thousands have turned up here in downtown Los Angeles to express their fear and frustration with the administration. Their message, no monarchs in America.
I want to be able to tell my future children that I was here, that I stood on the right side of history.
The nationwide rallies are in response to what organizers call an abuse of power by President Trump, including his administration's crackdown on immigration and its threat to send the National Guard into cities, including Chicago and Portland.
The message is no kings. The message is the Constitution of the United States is a wonderful document that matters.
Republicans said the protests were nothing more than Hate America rallies.
I'm Torian Small in Washington, D.C. Before leaving the Hill this week, House Speaker Mike Johnson framed this rally as a Hate America event. Attendees disagreed.
We love America. We hate what they're trying to do to America.
Today's rally is taking place in big cities and small towns in every state.
I'm Allie Bauman in Morristown, New Jersey. Thousands attended today's rally 16 miles away from the president's New Jersey golf course. This county has deep roots in the nation's founding, known as the military capital of the American Revolution.
Our forefathers fought off kings and said no kings for the first time. So it is full circle.
Judy Kelly is one of the local organizers.
To defend democracy on this land, it does mean a lot to all of us who are working on it.
In Frisco, Texas, the protest was small but vocal.
I believe in democracy. I fought for democracy and sacrificed. And the things that are being done right now in this government are totally ridiculous.
In Europe, protesters were also small in numbers, but passionate outside the U.S. Embassy in London, in Paris and Berlin.
Being here in Germany, especially considering the history that's here, we have a unique perspective to look and say, that's not okay.
Ahead of today's protest, the governors of Virginia and Texas brought in the National Guard to handle any potential unrest in their state. Jerica, those protests have been largely peaceful. Same scene here in Los Angeles.
All right, Elise Preston reporting from Los Angeles tonight. Thank
All right, so.
you.
All right, so there you go. There you go. The peaceful protesting. you know, all this protesting, and like I said, man, you know, these people are just playing into the devil's hand anyway. So when that time comes, you know, when all hell breaks loose, it's gonna, you know, when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction shall, you know, then comes sudden destruction, man. It's gonna get them when they least expect it. And with that, I'd like to give all the honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles, a great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Bayath Adavadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. See you in the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharala, Wa Abad Babal, Shalom, Barakatam.